Former British Defence Secretary Ben Wallace reiterated Crimea's importance to Russian President Vladimir Putin. He argued that to influence Russia, the peninsula must be rendered unviable. To make Crimea unviable, the West must provide Ukraine with long-range strike capabilities, Wallace stated during the Warsaw Security Forum 2025 International Conference. The former British government official recalled that the peninsula is a sacred place for Putin, a holy mountain. The Kremlin leader will be forced to end the war if he sees he has lost something important, he said during a speech in Poland. Wallace answered a question about how the West could help Ukraine, since Ukrainians feel abandoned and fighting their own war. The former minister explained that the Crimean Bridge should be destroyed to complicate the situation on the peninsula as much as possible. Only then will Putin draw the necessary conclusions. To achieve this, long-range missiles, such as the Taurus, are needed. We must help Ukraine have long-range capabilities, give it the ability to make Crimea unviable. We need to strangle life in Crimea. If we do this, Putin will realize he has something to lose if this place becomes uninhabitable. It's impossible for this bridge to work. We need a Taurus from Germany. We need to destroy this damn bridge because it's an ego. It's a statue. It's Putin's ego. If we do this, Putin will suddenly realize he has something to lose, the Briton emphasized. The former official also described what Crimea and Ukraine mean to Putin. In his opinion, the Kremlin leader views the peninsula as a sacred mountain and is consumed by a desire to dominate Ukraine. And it is precisely these two desires that motivate the Russian president. We need to remember what motivates Putin. Putin is in love with the idea of dominating Ukraine, the idea of taking over Ukraine. Crimea is Russia. He declared Crimea in 2014, Wallace explained. Another question the former British minister addressed was why NATO shoots down $1,500 worth of Russian drones with $500,000 worth of missiles rather than using other means, as Ukraine demonstrated. Wallace confirmed that Western militaries still want to buy aircraft carriers and million-dollar missiles and ignore the lessons of new warfare. The West has technologies capable of meeting the challenges of 21st century warfare, yet we still ignore them. It's worth noting that media reported on the strikes on Crimea and the subsequent consequences for the occupiers. Specifically in September, the Ministry of Defence's main intelligence directorate reported several times the destruction of air defense systems on the peninsula. Furthermore, there were attacks by naval drones on oil terminals in Tuapse and Novorossiysk, and by attack drones on oil depots and refineries in the Krasnodar territory, Rostov Oblast, and elsewhere. At the end of September, media reported fuel problems in Crimea. Gas stations are out of gas, and what gasoline is available is sold in limited quantities. As a result of the attack on the Belgorod thermal power plant, HIMARS missiles destroyed the foundation of the building housing the gas turbine units. This was reported by the Russian publication Astra, citing informed sources. In addition, the impact caused a fire in the plant's main building. Power generation was halted. The combined heat and power plant switched to hot water only. Another missile hit a substation in the village of Bliznaya Igomenka in the Belgorod region, causing serious damage to transformers and power lines. Sources claim that more than 20,000 residents were left without power after the strike on the plant. To avoid overloading the power grid, a decision was made to cut power to over 400 additional communities. The overall scale of the consequences was catastrophic. More than 160,000 people were left without power. The outage affected over 1,800 substations, and public address systems, traffic lights, and gas stations were disrupted. According to sources, 4 people were injured in the attack. The Belgorod region governor acknowledged that 77,000 residents still lack power, and water and sewer service interruptions persist in 10 municipalities. This attack by the Ukrainian armed forces was a response to the massive missile and drone shelling of Ukraine by Russian forces. Recently, Russia had launched over 600 attack drones and unmanned aerial vehicles, which destroyed residential buildings, struck hospitals, and energy facilities. A 12-year-old girl was among those killed in Kiev. Recall high-mobility artillery rocket systems, or HIMARS, with a range of around 70 kilometers, allow Ukraine to target Russian forces on the other side of the front line far more accurately than they had previously. President Volodymyr Zelenski confirmed on September the 17th that Ukraine will receive Patriot HIMARS missiles as part of a U.S. weapons aid package financed by NATO allies. The attack comes as Kyiv has intensified attacks against Russian oil, gas, and energy infrastructure, a key source of Moscow's revenues, helping to fuel its all-out invasion of Ukraine. Situated across the border from Kharkiv Oblast, Belgorod serves as a regular target of Ukrainian strikes. According to the Financial Times, 16 of Russia's 38 oil refineries has been struck by Ukrainian drones since August 2025. The disruptions have limited Russia's refining capacity by over 1 million barrels per day. The research group Energy Aspects told FT, dropping exports to below pre-war levels.